Have you ever prayed for something small because you didn't trust the universe to handle anything big? That's how she was. Her name was Sienna, a 32-year-old woman living in Virginia who had been through one bad year after another. Not catastrophic tragedies, no, she wasn't on the news or anything. Just the exhausting kind of life that slowly eats your joy. Bills always behind, heart always confused, sleep always short, soul always tired. So she prayed for one thing. God, can I just have peace? Just peace. Nothing fancy. And God, in the most sarcastic but poetic way, said, "Sure, but we're going to do it my way." Sienna stands in her tiny kitchen wearing pajama shorts and a hoodie that says, "I'm tired, don't ask why." Toast pops up from the toaster completely burnt. Sienna thought, I can't even toast bread in peace. She tosses it in the sink like a basketball player throwing a free throw with no hope left. Her phone vibrates on counter. And text message on screen. "You're still alive or nah?" From her cousin Danielle. Sienna sighs and replied barely. Danielle was not only her cousin, she was emotionally her unpaid therapist. Sienna drives to work. Coffee in cup holder. Gospel music playing. Her tire blows out with a loud bang. The car swerves slightly. Sienna slams steering wheel and shouted, "Are you kidding me? I literally just prayed this morning." Yes, she prayed for peace. And the universe said, "Okay. Step 1, we're going to make you stop." The police lights approach and she panics. But it's not a cop. It's a random black pickup truck. A man hops out, looks like someone who works with his hands. A mechanic? Construction? Or just a guy who never sits still? His name, we'll learn later, that is Elias. Elias, leaning toward her window, asked, "You okay? Tire blew out?" Sienna replied, "No, actually, I thought it was the Lord trying to call me home." Elias smirks and said, "I have a spare in my truck. I'll swap it. Don't worry, I'm not a serial killer. I don't have the attention span." He laughs at his own joke, but she doesn't. She asked, "What if I am a serial killer?" And he said, "Then we can both kill each other later and call it even." Sienna laughs despite herself. While he changed her tire, she did something she hadn't done in weeks. She breathed. Slow. Present. Not thinking of yesterday's failures. Not thinking of tomorrow's stress. Just watching the way sunlight landed on a stranger's hands as he helped her for no reason except humanity, and that felt like a miracle. Sienna said quietly, "Seriously. Thank you." Elias replied, "It's nothing." She said, "No. It's everything." That night, she didn't pray for peace. She said, "God, I think you're doing something. I don't know what. But, okay." She didn't ask for less noise. She asked for more clarity. And that's when things began to move quickly. Because sometimes peace isn't quiet. Sometimes peace is purpose. Sometimes peace shows up disguised as motion. The next day, Sienna is at Starbucks in line. Elias walks in. Sienna, eyes wide, she said, "Oh my God." Elias asked, "Are you stalking me?" Sienna replied, "Clearly you're the one stalking me." They both laugh. Barista said to Elias, "The usual?" Sienna raises eyebrow and said, "You come here every day. You're basically a weak caffeine addict." Elias replied, "And you're judging me while ordering a frappuccino that's basically dessert with insecurity on top." And she said, "It's not insecurity. It's a coping mechanism." And just like that, something small shifted. You know that moment when two people laugh and something inside them says, "Oh, this is safe." That happened. Right there. Under overpriced coffee lights. And she had no idea that this random man who changed her tire, was about to unravel the biggest, most unexpected chapter of her life. Because she prayed for peace. But what was coming was transformation. And transformation is messy, chaotic, funny, uncomfortable, and breathtakingly beautiful. There is a strange stage of connection between two adults. It's not dating. It's not friendship. It's not romance yet. It's that beautiful, confusing middle ground where every conversation feels like a small miracle. That's where Sienna and Elias landed. They talked long enough in Starbucks that day to forget the time. Elias, checking his watch, and said, "I'm going to be late." Sienna said, "Late to where? Are you a spy? Hitman? Fixing tires is your day job?" He chuckles and said, "I'm a woodworker." Sienna said, like, "Jesus." Elias replied, yes, exactly like Jesus. Except I'm not holy and my mother is not a virgin. Sienna laughs too hard. Almost spits her drink. Elias said smiling, come see the workshop sometime. Sienna replied, really? He answered, yeah. Why not? He tears a piece of receipt paper, writes his address. That tiny act, pen to paper, made something ancient stir in her. Because texting is convenient but ink is intimate. Sienna sits in her car later that evening deciding if it's insane to go. She imagined worst-case scenarios. He's a murderer? He's a cult leader? He's secretly married with 7 kids and they all live in a barn? Then she sighs and imagined best-case scenarios. He's peaceful. She whispered to herself, don't ruin this with logic. She drives. The building looked like something out of a Pinterest dream board. Brick, old with string lights across the inside. Wood shavings everywhere. The entire place smelled like cedar and honey. Elias is planning a piece of oak. He looks up, smiles, and said, you came? Sienna chuckles, I brought cookies. In case you tried to kill me. I figured I could distract you with sugar. He laughs and said, I admire your survival strategy. He shows her around. Beautiful cabinets. Hand-carved bowls. A table he was finishing for a wedding couple. Sienna, touching a table corner. Is this what peace looks like for you? He replied, building things? Yeah. Keeps my mind quiet. She said, I don't think I have anything like that. He said, you will. Sometimes the thing you need hasn't shown up yet. She didn't realize yet. Those words would return later like prophecy. They sit on the concrete floor eating cookies from a plastic grocery tray like 2 teenagers who failed adulting. He said, so what do you actually want? In life, I mean. She opens her mouth. Nothing comes out. Because no one had ever asked her that. Sienna replied honestly, I don't know. I just want to stop feeling like life is chasing me. He said, nodding, you want peace. She said, yes. And he said, peace isn't the absence of noise. Peace is learning how not to lose yourself in the noise. That line hit her like a sermon disguised as small talk. As she's leaving the workshop, her phone rings. Her boss. She freezes. Her boss voice through phone, we need you to come in early tomorrow. And also, we're cutting your hours starting next month. Which means less pay, more stress. Sienna replied, are you serious? And her boss said, company restructuring. Nothing personal. Sienna hangs up. She sits in her car. Her eyes well with tears. Not dramatic sobbing. Just quiet defeat. Peace was not coming gently. Knock. Knock. She jumps. He leans down, concerned. Elias asks, are you okay? Sienna broken whisper, no. He opens her car door, doesn't touch her. Just stands there like a wall of safety and said, do you want to stay and just talk? She nods through tears. They go back inside. Sienna sits on a stool. Elias makes tea in a camping kettle and Sienna, my job is cutting my hours. I can't catch a break. And he replied saying, sometimes life shakes the table because you've been sitting at the wrong one. She looks up. Not sure if she believes it. Elias continued, what if this isn't destruction? What if this is direction? She gave a small smile and said, are you always this annoyingly wise? Elias replied, grinning, no. Usually I'm dumb as hell. But this part one, no. Night air grows colder. They're standing close now, not touching but too near to be neutral. He brushes a hair off her cheek, gently, like he's returning it to its rightful place. Elias said softly, whatever you think you lost today, it's because something better is coming. She swallows. In that moment she realizes. She prayed for peace. But maybe what she's getting first is a new life. And that is far more beautiful. After that night in the workshop, everything changed. Something inside Sienna rewired. She started waking up early. She started breathing slower. She started smiling without reason. Because peace wasn't an absence anymore. Peace had a face now. And his name was Elias. 2 days later. A Target. Sienna is with Danielle, her cousin, trying to act normal. Danielle said, you look weirdly glowy. Did you get secretly engaged? Sienna answered, no, she replied. Okay, then you either found new skincare or you're in love. Sienna said, I am not in love. Danielle teased, you just said that too fast. Suspicious. They both burst out laughing. The universe was about to embarrass her. Because right as she said, "I'm not in love," guess who walked into the store? Elias. Wearing a plain black t-shirt, carrying a bunch of paintbrushes. He sees her. Lights up. Elias exclaimed, "Sienna." "Hey." Danielle slowly turns to Sienna with the slow-motion I knew it face. Danielle said, "Hi. I'm Danielle. I'm the cousin. I have questions." Sienna quickly answered, "No, she doesn't." Elias replied saying, "Actually she does. She's your cousin. Cousins always have questions." Danielle giggled and spoke. "Thank you." They end up walking through the seasonal aisle together. Sienna picks up a pumpkin spice-scented candle and asked, "Why does America think pumpkin is a personality?" And he answered, "Because Christmas is too far away, and we need something seasonal to give us false hope." She replied, "You sound like therapy with a beard." Elias laughs so hard he accidentally knocks over a shelf display of mini pumpkin spice air fresheners. They go flying. Sienna gasped dramatically saying, "You just murdered autumn." Elias, trying to catch falling items, said, Okay, don't panic. I'm saving what I can." And it was ridiculous, and goofy, and stupid. But this exact moment was where the universe slipped in the knife and twisted it gently. Because Sienna realized something. She hadn't laughed like this in years. Not polite chuckles. Not tired giggles. Real laughter that shakes your spine. They kneel on the floor picking up spilled air fresheners. They're close. Foreheads almost touching. Hands accidentally brush. Sienna looks up. Elias looks up and then silence. Sienna whispered softly, "Are we about to kiss? Because we destroyed a pumpkin display?" Elias whispered back, "It's the most American way to fall in love." They laugh. And then mid-laughter, they kiss. Not planned. Not staged. Just instinct. Their mouths met like their souls were tired of waiting for their brains to catch up. A ridiculous moment turned electric. A laugh turned into something sacred. Danielle stands there like an audience who didn't buy a ticket but got front row seats and said, "Okay, wow. I'll just go stand over there and mind my business," which I definitely will not mind. They walk outside. Pumpkin spice meltdown behind them. It's quiet now. Elias leans against her car and said, "For the record, I didn't plan that." Sienna replies smiling, "Neither did I." And he said, "But I liked it." Sienna said calmly, "Yeah, me too." Pause. Dangerous silence, the kind where feelings get honest. Elias said softly, "Sienna, I like you." She breathes in, heart pounding in her chest. Sienna replied, blushing, "I like you too. But my life is messy. My job is unstable. I'm not in a place to be anyone's anything." Elias steps closer and said, "Listen to me." He takes her hand, slow, deliberate, and said, "Love is not something you do when life is perfect. Love is something that helps you survive when life isn't." That hits her like a punch. She almost cries again, not sad tears, overwhelmed tears. Then he asked her, "Can I take you on a real date?" She pauses, thinking, overthinking. He holds both her hands now. He said, softening, "You prayed for peace. Maybe this is God's way of giving you something more beautiful first, so you'll stop being scared of peace when it arrives." She closes her eyes. A tear rolls down. Sienna said, "Yes. Take me on a date." And that was the moment. The shift. The line where life stopped happening to Sienna and began happening with her. She prayed for peace, but life chose to give her love first. Because sometimes love is the doorway, and peace is what waits on the other side. Perfect.